Hello world, welcome back to the Razor RC. We're back with another charger. This is the brand new Gens Ace Imars D300. A brand new charger just got released, I think yesterday or today or something like that. It's so new, I don't even know how much this thing costs, but we're going to take a look at this. Thanks to Gens Ace for sending this out. And it is a follow-on to the Imars Dual, which I also have. The Imars Dual is actually probably my favorite track charger. It's the one I always take to the track when I'm charging my 2S packs, you know, up to like 7, 8, 10 amps, whatever. Excellent charger. I really like that. The main thing I like about that is it's small, it's compact, it's AC, and it's dual charger. So that's pretty cool. But this is the follow-on. This is the update. So they increased the specs substantially. It's now 300 watts, so 300 watts on AC or up to 700 watts on DC. That's really split between the two channels. So you could do 150 watts each channel on AC or 350 each on DC if you have an external DC power supply. And so 150 watts per channel, that's going to allow you to do 6S pretty comfortably, up to about 6 amps per channel. The old one was 200 watts, so really about 100 watts per channel. Really not that good for 6S. Although it's 6S capable, you really couldn't get enough amps. So the one thing I really asked them to improve on the Imars Dual was to increase the wattage, because then it would be basically an all-around charger you can use for bashing, racing, whatever you want, and I'm glad to see that. They also updated with the G-Tech technology. So this is basically the smart battery. So you just plug in the battery, it starts charging. You don't have to set any parameters or anything like that. So that's pretty cool. That's kind of a new thing they came out this year that allows them to basically auto detect batteries and not have to worry about you know, setting parameters. So if you're new to charging, you're not really sure how to use this thing works, that will help out. You will obviously need to have smart compatible batteries as well. So I have not taken a look at this yet. So this is the manual, comes in English, a lot of information, some German it looks like, I think, and some Chinese. So English, German, Chinese, and I think that's it. Obviously always read the manual. It does come in two colors, so a black and white version. Obviously they sent me the white version. And this, wow, this thing looks pretty sick. The one thing I really like with these chargers is they're super high quality. So this thing, you know, it's tiny, man. Look, it's the size of my hand. My hand can cover that thing. And it's a dual 300 watt charger in the size of something like, I don't know, what is that, the size of a Coke can? Something like that. But looks pretty nice. I also have the old one, the Imars Dual. So it's essentially like the same exact size. You know, I'd say it's probably maybe a millimeter taller. It's not exactly the same shape, but very, very close. And you can see, you know, size-wise, very comparable. It looks like the plug is actually on a different size. So that's interesting. So yeah, a little bit different of a form factor, but size-wise looks the same. Feels a little bit heavier than the old one. Does have like a silver plastic bottom, DC input or AC here on the bottom. You do also have a USB charger, so you can use this to charge your phone or whatever accessories. And then here's the smart plugs with the XT60 connectors. So you'll need both on your battery. So yeah, let's kind of take a look at, see how this thing works. Okay, we got everything out of the box, and I just want to show you what also is included: 2 EC5 connectors, 2 EC3 connectors, and 2 Dean's plug or T-style connectors. So a nice little variety there with the XT60 other side to plug into the charger. Also comes with a USB cable, so you can charge up your USB device. And then we're going to see how this thing works. So I just got it plugged in. As you can see on the main display, there's 2 channels, A and B. Basically, this left button is the channel button, so you push it once if you want to show channel A. It shows you all the different voltages for each of the cells, any amps it's currently running, and the capacity of what it's actually put into it, as well as how long it's been running. Push it again to show channel B, same thing. Push it again, go back to your original channel A and B status. One thing I do recommend doing on any charger, including this one, is to go into the system settings. So you just basically hold down this button, go into the system parameters, make sure you have what you want. For example, this one, you obviously want English or whatever your language is. You want to make sure your input power is correct. So this one goes up to 750 watts input at 7 volts. You can adjust the backlight, you know, if you want it lighter or darker. Volume, I did change mine down to low, just start on high because I don't really need it super loud. And then the complete voice is basically, once it's done charging, does it actually alert you and repeat. You can always, of course, factory reset. Also, task parameters, I do recommend you also check this. Make sure your capacity limit is at least as high as your biggest capacity battery. So this will basically cut off at 7,500 milliamp hours on any charge. That way it doesn't accidentally like overcharge your battery. If you got one that, you know, is 6,000 but it ever goes past that, then there's something wrong, so this charger will shut off. Also, you can set the safety timer for something reasonable, maybe, you know, an hour and a half or something like that. So if this thing ever charges longer than that, it'll just automatically shut off. These are just safety precautions in case you want to you know, make sure this thing never goes longer than it needs to. Also shows charger history of the last things it does. You can calibrate the 2 different channels. Didn't do that. There's also a system self-check, and then system information to show your hardware and software version. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Always a good idea to go through the system settings before you do anything. And what we're going to do now is charge a battery. I've got a 5,500 milliamp hour 2S smart battery, so it does have the smart plug. As you can see, it's the standard plug, but it's got that additional dot on the side, which is where the sensor is, and you just go ahead, plug the battery into whatever channel you want to do. We're going to do channel 80, I guess, and then plug in the balance port. Make sure you line it all the way onto the left, and as you can see, it just automatically detected it. It sees it's a lithium high voltage 2S pack. And then yeah, it's a G-Tech lithium high voltage 2S. It's going to take 33 minutes longer to run to fully charge. There's the current cells. There's the amps it's running at. So since it's a 5,500 milliamp hour, it's going to run at 5.5 amps, and then it shows you the time. So yeah, it's currently put in about, you know, 20 milliamp hours straight into the battery. We need to do, you know, probably another 30 minutes worth, whatever that is. I'm guessing about 2,000 milliamp hours or so. And so yeah, that's pretty cool how it just automatically starts charging, and there's a little indicator to show you how much longer it's going to take. You can even hit enter while you're doing it to adjust the current. So let's say you want to charge a little bit faster, a little bit lower, you can adjust that on the fly. No problems there. So pretty cool of how, you know, it's basically the smart pack. So really, obviously, this is going to work for more for people that don't want to have to think about, don't have to worry about what type of battery they are, or don't accidentally charge higher or lower than what it's capable of. It's just kind of a smart battery, and makes it a little bit simpler. So they do have a few of these out for different types of vehicles, UAVs and cars and stuff like that. So this is one, you know, it's a 2S pack, sort of standard flat pack there, and yeah, it's one of them that works. Now, in addition to obviously your smart packs, you can still, of course, charge any standard pack. So we're going to unplug this and take a look at another pack we've got. So this is the adapter for EC5. Now, it does not come with any balance boards or anything, obviously, because normally you're going to be plugging it straight into the charger. But I've got a Gens Ace 6,000 milliamp hour 4S Redline lithium high voltage battery. So this one's got, you know, the special plugs. We'll go ahead and plug that in. And then you want to make sure you line up everything over here on the left when you plug it in. And then I think we got that right. So as you can see, this battery, 4 cells ranging between 3.89 to 3.90. And to charge it, you just hit the enter button once you're on the channel that you want. And there's a bunch of different options for charging. Obviously, charging is actually balanced charging, even though it's just called charge. It's really balanced charging. Discharge, you can obviously discharge the battery. Storage is to bring it back to, you know, roughly 7.6 to 7.8 volts per cell, depending on the chemistry of the battery. Balance is something pretty interesting and not something a lot of people do or even know about, or even a lot of chargers support. So if you have a multi-cell pack like this is a 4S, maybe you have 3 cells that are running at, you know, one particular voltage, and then you have one that's a little bit dead or a little bit lower than the others, or maybe even a little bit higher. You can actually balance all 4 cells across each other. That way they're all at the same voltage. It makes it a little bit easier to charge next time because they're all going to be running at the same voltage. Also will prolong the life of the battery a little bit better. So in addition to storage charging, not a bad idea to, you know, once in a while balance charge, or if you have something close already at voltage, you maybe have cells that are a little bit different, good idea to balance charge. And then you can always external discharge as well. So you can actually discharge from one channel to the other. If you have an external resistor bank, you want to discharge at a high amperage. A lot of people do that for stock racers or something like that. You can do that. And digital power allows you to basically have this thing output a particular voltage and a particular particular DC amperage as well. So that's kind of cool. You can use this as a power supply for something else if you have the right connectors and stuff. Now, in addition, to digital power, you can also sync charge. So you can basically bridge the two channels together with a parallel charge cable. Not something I typically do, but you know, if you have something where you need to charge at high amps or high power, you can actually use both channels at the same time, go sync charge, and then that way you can really get, you know, some pretty insane amounts of watts and amps and stuff if you're into that kind of thing. So not really my kind of thing, but you know, some people are into that, especially those stock racing guys. So these are all the different chemistries. It supports lithium high voltage, lithium polymer, lithium ion, lithium ion, and then nickel metal hydride as well. I think up to 12 cell, not totally sure. I believe that's what it is for nickel metal hydride. But this is a lithium high voltage battery, so we're going to choose that. You can finish the target voltage. You know, for lithium high voltage, it's going to be 4.35 volts per cell. If this is LiPo, it's going to be 4.2 volts per cell, that kind of thing. You can always lower it or whatever if you want. The cell count, it should automatically detect it based off the balance port, but in case for some reason that's not right, you can change that, and then whatever current you want to run at. So this one, because it's 6,000 milliamp hours, we're going to change it up to 6 amps, and then go ahead and start the task. Now for lithium high voltage, because some people might accidentally pick that over LiPo, you got to make sure you confirm that this is the right type of battery, and it goes ahead and charges and shows you basically, you know, how far along it is and how long it's going to take to finish. So yeah, that's pretty much the charger in a nutshell. We're going to go ahead and stop this so we don't have the fan blowing and stuff like that, but a pretty nice little charger. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe buttons. Look for more videos soon. Thanks for watching.